Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey y'all.
It's your girl Chanel, and this is another amazing episode of Keeping It Ugly with Chanel and
Chantel.
so today we have a special guest, and she is a licensed professional counselor. And she's going to be doing a new segment for the Keeping It Ugly crew called Keeping Your Head Up with Lou. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome the amazing, fantastic, beautiful, smart, intelligent Luan Fletcher. Hey, Lou, what's up, my lady?
Hello,
Hey
everybody.
Lou.
Thank you for having me on today's show. I'm glad that I'm able to contribute to your program.
Thank you. We are so excited to have you. Lou, tell us a little bit about yourself. Well, we know. Tell the people a little bit about your background.
First of all, I'm Lou. They call me Miss Lou. My kids call me Big Lou. But I'm just Lou, okay? And I am a licensed professional counselor, attended South University, and I'm also a respiratory therapist.
Mm.
I've been a respiratory therapist for 38 years, was a resident for in counseling for 2.5 years, and I've had some good life experiences. I am from Yonkers, New York.
Hey, why yo?
Why yo?
I have 5 brothers and sisters.
Mm.
I have some ups and downs in my life, but through it all, I've come out good. And that's why I'm here to help to enlighten you on mental health and being serious about your mental health. Now that we're going through times that we're spending more times in
Mhm.
our minds.
Speaking of that, what is a good sign that maybe it's time to get some help? What should people be watching out for? And what should their friends and family also be looking out for?
Good question, Chantel. You should recognize when you need to regroup. You want to
Mhm.
talk things out with someone to help you move forward comfortably with your life. Right now, we're going through trying times, and everyone has a little anxiety. But
Okay.
when it gets to be that you can't function and it's keeping you from doing your job or
Mhm.
keeping you from being with your family, it's disturbing you some
Mhm.
kind of way. If it's disturbing your regular functions, that's a time. And some people have difficulty admitting to this, and family members can observe this in someone if they're feeling suicidal. A lot of people want to keep that in, but it's best to express it to someone so that you can get some help,
Yeah.
because that's a sign of needing some help. That's more than normal.
Sometimes things like that aren't easy to detect, especially like someone else looking into it. I mean, yourself, okay, yeah, I'm feeling this way, but like you said, people keep it in. So someone on the outside is looking for some of those signs. I mean, every situation obviously is not going to be the same, but what are some things that definitely should say, oh, you know what? Let me check up on them. They're doing this different or they're acting this way. Let me kind of tap in and see what's going on with them.
You're right, Chantel. People aren't going to come out and say, "Oh, I feel suicidal," or
Mhm.
"I'm going to kill myself." Or a lot of people that do that are really seeking attention for something,
Mm.
and that means that they are reaching out, but they actually don't know how to say it. So one of the signs is if they're starting to give away property, if they're starting to give away some of their personal items and saying, "I'm leaving this for you," and that would be a good time to say, "Leaving that for me for what? What are your feelings right now?" And it's okay to say to
Yeah.
someone, "Are you feeling like harming yourself?" That's a less intensive word or words to say. Do you feel like harming yourself, or do you feel like harming someone else? So those are the two things that you want to pay attention to. If someone that is normally going around happy and they're all of a sudden think you're noticing certain things about them, it doesn't have to mean suicidal, but it's all just to check in.
Yeah.
Okay.
But suicide is something that could come from someone that's happy every day and they're not showing those kind of signs, because we don't know. Mental health is just starting to be accepted and talked about. So somebody could be going around happy every day, but deep inside they're feeling bad. And if it's someone close to you, you might feel comfortable of asking, "Are you
Yeah.
okay? Do you want me to? Do you want to talk to somebody?" And I always say, "Well, you don't have to talk to me, but there is help out there for you."
Well, I feel like suicide may be the extreme. So some people may just be feeling down and they don't know why. So since there's different levels of, I guess, the spectrum, you can say, depression, various things. How do you know who's the proper medical professional for the situation that you're going through?
There's several ways that you can go about that. If you're feeling extremely bad and you feel like you need immediate help, it's a crisis center. You can call the crisis center, or you can look it up online, anything crisis. It's considered a crisis when you need immediate help. And if you're really feeling that way, I suggest that anybody call 911. And then you can go to the emergency room and they'll have someone assess your mental right then and there. And a family member can call for you. If you're feeling that down and you're afraid, because most fear is what holds us back from getting help, I suggest that everyone go to a family member, a friend, call 911, go to the emergency room.
Now, what if it's not that extreme? What if I'm just like, I'm feeling a little off, I'm down, I'm not around my family right now. My family doesn't understand how I may be feeling. I need to talk to somebody just in general. I'm not maybe to the suicide level, but I just want to talk to someone. How do I begin that process of reaching out and finding the right person for me?
Well, there's several ways you can go about that. You can get online, like I said, and you can search Psychology Today for a social worker, a therapist, or a life skills person, anyone to talk to. Psychology Today has a list of people in your area. You can just put in your zip code and it'll direct you to the people that could possibly help you with your thoughts and motivation to move on if you're feeling depressed. It sounds easier, like I'm talking about it, but some people have difficulty with connecting. So you can connect by making an appointment, and now things are done virtually. If you feel funny about leaving out your house, under Psychology Today, it will say whether they do virtual appointments, what insurances that they take. Since we have the internet now, you don't have to talk to family and friends. You can go up there and do your own research. And it comes with a picture, a little bio about the person. And some people go by pictures first, and they might scroll to someone's things that they have in common. It might be race, it might be gender, or whatever. So we're skilled in helping people in all aspects.
So you can refine the search on Psychology Today based on the gender, the race, the religious practices, whether they're spiritual or not. So that's good. Psychology Today, I checked it out myself. It's a good resource, definitely a great place to start.
Now, when people do take that first step, at least reaching out, doing their research, finding somebody, making the appointment, how many times should they give it before they say, you know what, this is not going to work for me, let me try someone else? Or what are some things that you should prepare yourself for even before going into it so that you don't go into it with that negative mindset?
Sometimes it's just not a match. You can have someone that's the same race, the same gender, the same cultural background, but it's just not a match. You're not connecting. I'm going to brag about therapists nowadays. We're pretty good. We go out of our way to connect. And same thing as a therapist, we can feel if it's not a connection. If it's a therapist that's confident, they're going to say, well, if you don't feel happy with me, I invite you to look for someone else in the practice. You can always go back and start out all over again. I'm just glad that you came. And that gives someone the insight to say, okay, well, I'm not in this by myself. Okay. And you were asking how many times, Chantel? Well, usually after the first time, you could tell whether it's a match or not. I would give it 3 times to really know in my mind that it's not enough if I was seeking therapy. And also the therapist should be able to tell you that she doesn't think it's a match. And that doesn't mean that you don't have to work with that person, but you're going to figure out some ways that it can work.
Okay. Like you said, mental health has just came to the forefront. It's being more accepted, and everybody is really trying to focus on getting themselves together. In our culture, it's like, oh no, you going to see a therapist? Are you going to see a psychiatrist? Are you crazy? Are you this? So just being able to get there and make that appointment, you say, give it 3 times, keep a positive mind, and just don't give up.
And also I want to add too, that before you go, we are therapists. We're not mind readers. So I suggest that people write down their concerns, write down their thoughts, write down the things that you're feeling. So you can help the therapist. Like I said, we're not mind readers. We're here to help. But once again, it's your life.
That is true.
Amen to that.
So a lot of people are kind of fearful because, like Chantel said, of what the community may think. Like, Black people don't go to therapy. What should you do if your family and just the way you grew up discourage therapy in general? Like, you can't go out there telling nobody our business. What should you do?
Or you're getting medication, or you're talking about yourself, because once again, it's your life.
Yeah.
And you have to live the rest of your life. So I encourage people that you don't need anyone to co-sign over your life.
You got to run that back. You don't need anyone to co-sign over your life, in the words of Lou.
That's right. If you can read, you can do it yourself. If you can't read, you can ask somebody to help you, but don't let them direct you. And the purpose of discovering you is to be happy with the skin that you're in.
Amen. I couldn't agree more.
And it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time and some work. And from what I understand, it's not going to be overnight. You just got to take your time and go with the flow.
And it needs to happen with you first. If you want to get better, there is help out there. Now, I know a lot of concern is finances. We are in an unprecedented time and people just don't have the extra resources. Where should they look into to get the assistance that they need financially to even start, if that's a concern?
If that's a concern, you can Google your community service board wherever you live, and you can just say counseling service and it will pop up, because those services are usually either sliding scale meaning you could pay $0 to $10. Or if you have Medicaid insurance, they do accept that. And some of them are self-pay. It's worth it to have someone to start you out with the process of working on yourself. There's a number of mental health places that go by slide and scale and take different insurances and will work with you. So please do not let finances hold you back from working on yourself.
Amen.
And what about EAP, the Employee Assistance Program at your job?
Oh, yes, Chanel, that's a good one, too. Most jobs have EAP for self and family members. And I think you get up to 8 to 16 visits with the EAP person, and you don't have to pay for it. It's confidential. And EAP counselors are very good. They're trained and licensed to help, too.
And a lot of people are kind of fearful of going through EAP because they feel like it's not confidential. Their job is going to find out and things like that.
But it's confidential, just like your therapy sessions are confidential.
Right.
All counseling therapy, we do have HIPAA, and it protects the client, the therapist, and everybody. And confidentiality is very important. It's a code that we just don't break.
Okay.
Good.
Well, that's good. So what happens if we've done the legwork? We found a therapist, we got in touch with them, we arranged an appointment, virtual or in person, we're all set to go, but our appointment is 2 weeks away. What can we do in the meantime to cope within ourselves?
There's a lot of things that we can do. Listen to music, exercise. The important thing is to get up and work with yourself. If your appointment is 2 weeks out, then you need to be making a list of the things that you want to talk about with the therapist. What plucks your nerves, what ticks you off, what sets you back, those type of things that you want to be able to tell the therapist, because once again, we're not mind readers. So you want to be focusing on your future too, and positivity. We're working on our mental just as well as our physical.
Right. That is
and
true.
It all goes hand in hand.
It sure does. Because if you're not feeling good mentally, you're really not going to be able to get much accomplished, period. I mean, and not say you're going to be in a perfect space, I'm not saying that. And even myself, I'm never in a perfect space, but like you said, you have to get up. You have to move around. You have to drink your water.
You have to drink your water. Very good. And those kind of things motivate us. Yeah. And I'm not saying just tackle it all at one time. Just do some pieces of it. You drink your water all the time because hydration keeps your mental going too. And then exercise. Those are the two main important things that get you motivated in doing. I'm talking about maybe 5 minutes of exercise. You don't have to exercise all day. You can sit where you are and move your legs, move your arms. Then the next day you might try, instead of doing 12 reps, you might want to try 2 sets of 12. Just something to bring you around that keeps your mind, your adrenaline going, and you'd be surprised. It does motivate you. And like now it's called seasonal depression because it's wintertime.
Mhm.
And also I'm going to start calling it COVID challenges because we're all locked in right now. And then we're locked into our mind too because we're focusing on different things. And whether it be good or bad, we still need to be motivated to move on. So maybe might want to read a book, call a friend that you haven't called to in a long time, a relative, just to check in, check them out, check you out, catch up. It works. Trust.
Yeah, stop scrolling through social media.
Yeah.
Sit down on the floor with them kids. They'll get you laughing in a minute, won't
They
they?
will.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Social media can also be a downer because people up there, some of them are fake, phony. They just put stuff up there. So maybe you might want to decrease your screen time.
Yeah, I agree. I think social media can definitely be a driver to people being depressed and then just feeling so shitty about themselves because I mean, we're scrolling all day and we're subconsciously comparing ourselves to everything that we see. Like, oh man, I should be on this, or I should be doing this, or I should, work harder for this.
Mhm.
All day, all day, all day. So I could not agree more. Reduce that screen time. It's really important that we get on top of our mental health, not just for women, not just for men, but for everybody, even in your children. Make sure you're checking in with them and watching their, how their behaviors are, if they're changing different things, not wanting to eat, not wanting to talk, staying in their room. All those things are signs. It may not be that severe, but it's okay to check in.
Yeah.
You have to check in with your children, especially, and I still and limit their screen time just as well as yours. Go outside and take a walk together.
Yeah.
Yeah, with your child, and you'll find out a lot of good things. Trust.
Well, Lou, we are so thankful to have you. Thank you so much for keeping it ugly with us. We can't wait to have you back on your new segment called Keeping Your Head Up with Lou. Yes. And as always, if you have questions for Lou or us, you can hit us up on Facebook at Keeping It Ugly with Chanel and Chantel or on our email, keepingitugly2@gmail.com.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.
So y'all be sure to tune in to Keeping It Ugly with Chanel and
Chantel.
And we'll see you soon. Bye.
Stay motivated.
Hey, you gotta dance, mom.